Good morning.
Yeah, right.
Right. The first two records are huge successes here. Put you on the map. You're on a strata like a few bands in your company at that point, 2012, 2011. And then 2015 comes Wild Your Mind, your third album. Bit of a departure. Bit of a left turn sonically, where you, quote, ditch the banjo. Is what I've read. Was it something Winston said or did?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and he did it himself. I think that ditch the banjo quote. I don't know who you're quoting. Are you quoting us?
No, I'm quoting the articles that have been out and like what I've read online. Yeah, they ditched the banjo. No, just sonically, is it departure? Was it a collective need to do something different and experiment with different sounds and different instruments?
No, it came out of a collective sort of constant in our lives to do that. But that short period of time over the first two records was what we became known for, which is totally understandable. But it wasn't just who we were, you know. So we'd never planned to stay just doing
in that lane.
The same. No, it's not really about lanes. More like instrumentation. We never planned to just play the same instruments. I mean, we get excited every time we pick up a new instrument, and we'd done that effectively to start the band. Like I was a drummer and not a guitarist, and Wim was a guitarist and not a banjo player, and Ted's the best guitarist out of all of us, and he was playing the bass. So, and that had all happened fairly just like right before the start of the band. So we were kind of enthusiastic about these instruments that we'd never played before, really, or like hadn't spent a lot of time playing on. And then we toured really hard for a couple of years and wrote with whatever instruments were in our hands. And at that time, we couldn't carry that much with us, so we had these acoustic instruments. We wrote Babel on them. And then, yeah, we just we wanted to try something else. So it was more. I don't think it was a need. It was just sort of an expression of who we were.
Right. Now, Ted, did you learn how to play the guitar jumping out of those cakes 10 years ago?
The cake was actually made from guitars.
That's what I thought. Yeah. That's what I thought.
Had everything I needed right there. It was awesome.
New album, Delta. It's quite good. Congratulations on the new album.
Thank you.
And it took a couple of years. You took your time. I heard that you wanted to make a full album and not release singles or an EP. It was really important to you all to release a full rock record. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I mean, we see these albums as kind of just snapshots and periods of time, but you do need to get a good kind of gauge of where things are at. You need more than a few minutes to do that. And so a whole album gives you kind of a bit of a Polaroid picture of the bit zoomed out. And I think for the four of us, knowing that we all want to write and express ourselves as freely as possible every few years, to do that in the format of an album, no matter what's happening with radio or streaming or the world changing around us, we do believe that format is still something special and something that we grew up on and love listening to a whole record start to finish. So we really care about not just a collection of songs, but also how they talk to each other and how they flow. You know, we'll spend hours just poring over like how many seconds between songs, and then people will just listen to them on shuffle. But we really think about that stuff, and yeah, it's important to us.
And there were quite a few that didn't make the record. How many songs? About like 30 or 40 you had started off with, and then it dwindled down to the 12 on the record.
It dwindled, limped across the line.
Yeah. And I would think too that taking some time to make the record, because then you're not on the road. You're having life experiences and things to draw upon in your life to put in your music. Are there some things that you want to discuss that are in the record that make it more relatable? This record feels more personal when I've listened to it.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, I think it is. I think we're all songwriters, the four of us. So, and we had about 3 years since Wilder Mind. So we had 3 years of four individuals' experiences in life to write about, which is quite a lot. It's like 12 adult years to write about, you know.
Right.
By my maths. Not to be trusted. So there was lots going on. Yeah, loads going on. And we toured a little bit less than we had before. You know, Babel, we were touring. We were doing like 170 shows a year, plus all the travel. It's like we were away the whole time. And then even Wild of Mind, we did 140 or something.
Yeah.
So then we took a bit of time off the road and experienced living our lives a little bit with family and friends wherever we were. And then you're because when you're touring, you're in a bit of a bubble. Life events obviously happen, but you're quite protected from a lot of the kind of everyday stuff. So when we didn't tour as much, we were more exposed to the everyday stuff.
I'd read a story, Marcus, that you were inspired. You met up with Noel Gallagher in a pub, and he
Yes.
kind of motivated you to write songs.
Yeah,
A
with
true,
a lot
accurate, false?
Yeah,
Where- where-
it's true, with a lot of swearing.
Yeah, no, I know that. Yeah. First of all, what kind of pub? Was it an everyday pub, or was it like a
It was just
card-carrying rock star pub? I mean, what are we talking about?
It was a bar. It was a bar, and I bumped into him. And we bumped into each other a few times. I haven't always behaved brilliantly.
That's why we like you.
But on this occasion, I was behaving quite well.
Okay.
And he's really sweet, man. I mean, he's, one of my heroes, complete heroes. So I was talking to him and just saying, like, I was going through a dry patch writing-wise, and I wasn't really, successfully writing any songs. And he was like, well, what the fuck are you doing with your life? You're a fucking songwriter. Go home and write some fucking songs. And I did. The next day I wrote 3 songs. He's like, what else are you going to do with your time? And he
All
was right.
aspiring songwriters just run into Noel at a pub, buy him a pint, and your creative muses will flow.